Hello friends, welcome to the very basic lecture for Excel charting. Today we are starting this lecture from quite basics. So those people who have never done Excel charting, even they will be able to understand. So sorry, during the course of this lecture we will first learn about what is a chart, how Excel handles charts, what is the difference between an embedded chart versus actually it should be standalone, okay, not an issue, parts of a chart, basic steps for creating a chart and working with charts. Now basically a chart is a visual representation of numeric values, and charts have been an integral part of spreadsheets since the early days. Now Excel provides us with the tools to create a wide variety of highly customizable charts that can help you effectively communicate your message. Okay, so displaying data in a well conceived chart can make your numbers more understandable because a chart represents a picture. Charts are particularly useful for summarizing a series of numbers and their interrelationship. Making a chart can often help us to spot trends and patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. So just to brief you about why a chart is important, what we have done, we have just listed some data over here, okay, and we have made a chart for this data, okay. Now, like if you just have a look at the data, basically it's a simple column chart that depicts a company's sales volume by month. You can see Jan, Feb, March. So month wise sales is given for a particular company. So this is the data and this is the corresponding chart. Now one way to make this chart is to go into insert and then do it something that will come to later, but the easiest way or the simple method, which it's a shortcut tip, you can also take it. Select the data, press Alt F1, so straight away this chart will come. So we have done some bit of formatting, so I'll just delete this thing. Okay, now if you just view the chart, it is quite apparent that sales in the summer months of June, July, August, it was low. Okay, it can be any reason, whether the product is seasonal, which sells only in the summer season, or maybe in, what do we say, when the heat is not that much. So but during this course, or during these 3 months, the sales were quite down, but again they steadily increased during the final 4 months of the year. You will argue that you can come to the same conclusion simply by studying the numbers, but viewing the chart makes the point much more quickly. You can have a look at the chart and you can spot the trends or the patterns. Okay, so this was just very basic regarding the Excel charts. Now next question which we have is how Excel handle charts. Okay, so basically in order to create a chart you must have some numbers, or numbers we can call it as in data as well. We should have data in order to make chart. Okay, now basically the data that is used by a chart resides in a single worksheet, but that's not a strict requirement. A chart can also use data that is stored in a number of worksheets. We'll also learn this thing. Suppose if your data is stored in 2 to 3 worksheets, how to club that data together and make a single chart. We'll learn these things in during the course of our lectures. So basically a chart is an object. Okay, a chart is an object that Excel creates upon our request. Okay, now this object or this chart consists of one or more data series. So all these things which you are seeing over here, this is called as a data series. Okay, this is data series 1, this is data series 2. and this is one data series which has been depicted in the chart, and this is the another data series which has been depicted in the chart. Okay, now the appearance of the data series, like we said that this is a data series. Now the appearance of the data series depends strictly on the type of chart which you have chosen. Like in this case it's a line chart, but if I can just press right click, change series chart type and make it maybe a column, so it's a column chart. Okay, the only thing what we have done, we have just changed the way the data series is looking. Okay, just again keep it as a line only. Now data for each series is stored in a separate row or a column. Okay, you can have a look at it over here. Now when we talk about charts, basically charts, they are dynamic in nature. Like if I click this chart, you are seeing this area is getting highlighted. That means the data for this chart is coming from this. Okay, now suppose if instead of this 374500, if we have maybe 550000, okay, the chart is automatically getting updated. Or maybe if, because instead of this 489500 we have 678900, the chart is automatically getting updated. So that means the charts are dynamic in nature. Now basically charts can reside in either of the two locations in a workbook. One is something called as embedded chart. Okay, so embedded chart means where data and chart are lying on the same worksheet. It can be like this or it can be like this as well, where you are hiding the data by means of your chart. Okay, even that is possible. See this. So this is what we call as embedded chart. There is something called as standalone chart. Standalone chart means something like this, where in the entire worksheet you only have one chart, nothing else. Data is not present. This is called as a standalone chart. Now suppose you have this chart, an embedded chart. You can select this, go to design, move chart, click on new sheet. So there is a separate standalone chart which you have made. Okay. So this was regarding the embedded chart and standalone chart. Now we'll just learn something about the few parts of a chart. What are the various parts of a chart? Okay. Now a chart is basically made up of different elements, and all of these elements are optional. Yes, we can create a chart that contains no chart element, an empty chart, but it is of no use. Okay, but Excel does allow it. Now basically if you just have a look at this chart, okay, we'll just explain you different parts of a chart based on this example. So in this chart we have both a column as well as a line. Okay, so both the things are there. So in this chart we have two data series. One is income and another one is profit. Okay, and income is plotted on a vertical columns. So this is the income. This is plotted on a vertical column, and profit margin is plotted as a line. This is the profit margin which is plotted as a line with square markers. These are called as markers. These things, these are called as markers. Okay, so each bar or marker on the line represents a single data point. Like I'll just give you one example. In the month of Feb, the data point for month of Feb is 187933. Okay, 187933, it will come somewhere over here. So 187933. Profit for the month of Feb, it was 11.20, but in this case it is taking reference from this side. I'll tell you the reason why it is taking reference on this axis, why it is taking reference from the secondary axis. Okay, so chart also has a horizontal axis, so this is the horizontal axis of a chart, which is depicted by the months. Now, as you mentioned that this chart has two vertical axes, one is income and another one is profit. Okay, these are called as value axes, and each one has a different scale. This is in numerical terms and this is in percentage. Okay, now the axis on the left is called as column series, that is income, and the axis on the right is called line series, that is profit margin. The value axes are also display scale values. The axis on the left displays scale value from 0 to 250,000. Okay, and the value on the right uses a different scale, 0 to 14%. In increments of 2%, 2, 4, 6, in increments of 2%. Over here it's with increments of 50,000. For a value axis, we can control the minimum and maximum values as well as the incremental values. So this can be done by, if you click on format axis, you can control minimum value. If you want to change the minimum value, you can click over here and give your figure, maybe let's assume 50,000. Okay, so it will start from 50,000, not from 0. Okay, so this is how you can change the incremental axis and minimum and maximum value. Same way you can do it on this side as well. Now, why we have gone for two axes on the verticals, two vertical axes, that is because the data series vary dramatically in scale. That is why, like if we plot, like just to make my point more clear, I'll just plot this thing, Alt F1. See, we are not even able to see the profit because we're not able to see the profit. So we'll come back to it, how to adjust this chart so that we can see the profit margin values, and how to plot this thing in our lecture. So that will come to it. So this was just to give you a background. Because of different scaling, we have to use two different vertical axes. Okay. Now these lines, these inside lines, these are called as grid lines. You can also delete the grid lines. Okay. Control Z. So these are called as grid lines. This is your title, chart title. This is your legend. You can also change the position of the legend. Like if you want it on top, you can come over here. If you want it on left hand side, left. Okay. So this is the way you can change the position of your legend. So these were the basic, what we say, parts of a chart. There are some more, like you have your chart area, then you have plot area, that we'll learn as and when we'll start working with the charts. We'll learn more about it. Now the next topic which we are going to take is basic steps for creating a chart. Now what we have done, we have this data over here. In order to make a simple chart, first select the data. You can use any of the data selection methods which we have learned during our course of Excel training. You can select the data, go to insert, click on the, then you can click on the insert tab, go to charts. You can select the chart which is appropriate to you. Now as of now we'll just go to column. Now you have some further what we say subcharts are given. we'll explain everything what each chart means. So let's assume we clicked on this. So we have made a simple chart. Okay, now you also have the option, let me just double click it. Now once you select the chart, you also have option of changing the orientation of data. Like as of now, data is on the horizontal axis, you have Jan, Feb, March. You can switch row and column data. So on the horizontal axis you will have projected and actual data. Okay, so this is a toggle command, and you can change the orientation of your data, but you have to see whether after changing the orientation, whether your chart is really to say communicating the purpose for which it has been built. So as of now we'll keep it this ways only. So I will just again explain you. Select the data, click on insert, go to charts, select, we'll discuss all these things. What do you mean by clustered column, what do you mean by stacked column. As of now just select this, make a simple chart. So this was a simple chart which we have made. Now I think all of you at least know how to make a simple chart. It's very simple. As of now, what we have done, this is basically a column chart. You have these columns. You can also change the type of the chart. What you can do, select the data, click on change series chart type. You can make it a line chart. Okay, so this is our projected sales and this is our actual sales. You can make both of them as line chart. Okay, so this is the way you change the type of chart. Now next one is when you select a chart. Okay, now suppose if I have selected this chart. Now first see. Now as of now, just see the number of tabs which you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tabs you have on your ribbon. But as soon as you select a chart, you have additional 3 tabs which comes up. Okay, now we'll just first go to design tab. So the first one is the option which you are having is to switch the data, switch row and column data. Second option, there is something called as chart layout. You have variety of options given over here. You can select the best chart which suits your data, like we click on this one. So this is the way how it will affect your data or the chart which you have made. Some beautiful designs are also there. Layouting options, different layouting options Excel has already built in, so you need not do any formatting in order to get these things. So this is under chart layouts. Then you can also change the chart style, the color, the look and feel of your chart. You can change from here. Okay, so you can explore it further. There is a chart style. Move chart we've already shown. Like suppose if you are having an embedded chart where your chart is residing along with your data, you can shift it to a standalone chart by clicking on move chart. Then we have layout. Okay, now under layout, basically we have options like chart title. You can click over here and then give a chart title. Okay, then you also have access titles. You can give access titles over here, this. Then you also have legend. You can change the location of your legend. Okay, then you also have data labels. Suppose if you also want to show data along with a chart, you can click center, so all the data will be visible. You also have option of showing the data table, so data table will be visible along with your chart. You also have option of grid lines, whether you want to remove grid line or keep grid lines. We'll learn about it in a detailed way. Then you have your plot area, then you have your trend line. So basically these things are there. Then after that you have your format, where you have your shape styles, shape fills, shape outline, shape effects. Okay, we'll learn about these things in a much better way in our lectures to come. So this was basic about how to create a basic chart. Okay, now working with charts. Now suppose you have already made this chart. Suppose if you want to reduce the size of this chart, you can come over here, click on shift and then see. This is the way you can resize your chart. Either you can increase or decrease the size. I'll just again explain you. Select the chart, go to any of the corners. You have this two-sided arrow kind of a thing. Click on shift, then left click. This is the way you can resize your chart. If you want to copy your chart, select the chart, Control C, Control V. Your chart will be copied. If you want to delete a chart, simply select the chart, press delete. Okay, so rest of the things we'll learn in our further lectures. Thanks for your attention, and we'll see you in another lecture of Excel charting. Thank you.